window that shows where it is. This meeting is being recorded. Oh, it gives me an option to consent.
Okay.
I wish the other ones did this, because then we could make sure that everybody consents. No, I really like that.
Yeah, I think when you join a meeting that's already being recorded, it just tells you that it's being recorded. So.
Yeah, but when I record in the middle, it doesn't send a message to people saying, we're like, let's get verbal consent, everyone. You know, it's always annoying.
Yeah.
So I want to find your setting. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so so I watched the videos. I'm not really too sure how to proceed. Should I show you the code that we're working on? Would that be helpful, or okay?
Yeah, well, show us where you're at and where your questions are, type of thing, right?
Okay. Well, so we're at as we finish writing the code, and we're starting the testing phase, or want to start the testing phase. Ishan will be doing most of it because I'll have to be leaving with my firm job starting on Monday. But we watched the videos. We just weren't really sure. Like, we were both confused as to how to start or like what to do. So do you want to see? I'll try to share my screen and show you what we have in terms of our code, and hopefully we're good to go from there. So are you able to see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay, great.
The first thing I'm noticing, Michelle, is that the audio isn't appearing. So it seems like they don't have the include basic questions at the top of their code.
Probably not, but no, they do, because they have the saved answers available and the page ID, basic questions, intro screen.
Can you go to your playground?
But hang on just a sec. Okay. Are we troubleshooting your code, or are we writing tests?
We are. I just noticed that. Sorry.
Okay.
Just something to note for later.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries.
So yeah, they wouldn't have those other.
When you want to troubleshoot the code before you start testing?
Well, they can write their tests before.
Okay.
They can, by writing. Remember when you wrote the tests and that helped you discover a lot of problems?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but that wouldn't be something they would have known anyway. Just when one of us had hopped on, we would have seen, oh, something's not quite right, right?
So, that was their chance.
Yeah. So we should note that down for later for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But for now, do you on Slack on the tester channel? I believe one of the pinned items on that channel is a link to the folder in the Google Drive, right? To the testing folder.
Testing and mass access.
So there's a link to, you know, a Google Drive folder as one of the pinned items. Do you know how to look at pinned items on Slack?
Well, I think you could scroll up, but I imagine there's a better way of doing it.
So right underneath the channel name, see it at the top, there's a clock, and then there's the channel name.
Oh, is it right here?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
So go ahead and scroll down over there. Yep, keep going, keep going, keep going. This is for the 209A specifically.
Test PDF. Oh, okay, it's further down.
Right. Yeah, it's going too fast for me right now, but just look for something that says like Google Drive folder or testing.
These ones.
I thought is a test recording folder on the bottom right, or test.
No, it's go down a little bit.
Okay.
It's these one. Next one. Precedent sheet scenarios. Though you're gonna want to look at those. Because that's what you're gonna be creating.
Which videos you watched, because I'd like to know which ones were confusing. Like.
Yeah. Let's see. So Maeve sent us the videos. Let me see if I could pull those up here. Here, it was these videos.
When was that? On June 29th. So it was a little bit ago, but not that long ago.
Yeah, that's when she sent it to us. So it was three different videos of different calls that she's had.
Okay.
Do you want me to send you the links or?
That's okay. Not right
No.
now.
Okay.
But maybe later.
Okay.
You know what? Send them to me, and then I'll take a look at them later and see if
Okay.
they're outdated or something,
All right. Let me try to.
or the wrong links possibly.
Okay.
You can just copy paste. Yeah. Oh, I see. Perfect.
Would that
Michelle?
work? Oh, there you go.
It's not gonna send. You're only gonna be sharing it back to Maeve and Ishan.
Yeah, you can't share it with me.
Oh, I
'cause it's
can.
a
So,
private conversation.
so do I have to copy and
You
paste
just-
it?
Yeah, just copy and paste.
Okay.
I don't need. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go through the testing.
Sorry, I'll mute.
Okay, there we go. All right, so back to the
Thanks.
code. Sure. And by the way, thanks to both of you for joining and helping out. Get it.
Sure, of course. So let's go to the folder. Let's
Oh,
go
you
to
wanna-
Google Drive. She actually linked you to the folder.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go back to your message, there's a link there to the folder.
Okay. Yeah, I think we got that. Okay.
If you go back to the Slack channel between you, Ishan, and Maeve. The testing
Yeah,
folder.
that's one. Okay.
So you want to make a new folder in here with the name of your, tests dash. So did you make a new folder?
No, how do you is that like a right click or
So
just is that the new thing over here?
new, yeah.
Okay.
You
Oh, it's
select
just
folder. So tests dash, just like the other ones. Look at the other ones there.
Yeah.
And then the name of your form, right? What is the name of your form? Is that how cancel is spelled? Weird.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Where did that create that folder?
So go in there, right? And now Mia, you know the next steps much better than I do, but
I just don't. Can you go back because I don't know where that folder was created.
in test cases.
Is that it right there?
I can't see because the Zoom is moving. Oh, no, it's not.
Where did your folder? Oh, it's guardianship right over there. Okay.
Left on the left column.
Oh, is that this? Okay.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure it showed up there because it
No,
didn't.
no worries.
Yeah. So you're going to need the copies of the precedent sheets, but let's go back into Slack for what the information Maeve sent you. And let's go to the testing documentation. That's the testing, yeah. Interesting, okay. Let's go to the test case folder, the big one. The one with everything in it. Yeah. I believe that either examples or what Maeve did, I believe, was she made copies of my A scenarios and B template and had people work forward from there and made it their own. Michelle, do you?
Say that again? Yeah, I think you just copy another document,
Yeah, so
rename it, and
you see tests dash generic motion right in the corner. Yeah, click on that. Then you're going to want to, for A scenarios, you're going to want to make a copy of this and save it into your folder.
So was this not in one of the video tutorials?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Maeve had made our folders for us.
Hmm.
Okay. Does that just make a copy over here and then?
Yep. You might need to, it's probably gonna make it in this folder. So the copy right there, I wonder how you save it.
Drag it up to, you know, where it says shared with test cases, whatever. Drag it into test cases. There we go. And then open that. Open that folder, test cases. Then drag that into your folder, tests guardianship.
Okay.
And then you're gonna have to do this one more time. So go back to generic motion.
This one. Okay.
And for B template, you're gonna do the exact same thing. Okay, so now you're going to change the titles of both of these so that it's to your form. So let's go to A scenarios first, because this is mainly where your work is going to be until later, so you don't have to worry about the copy of B template yet. You're going to take out copy of and just have it start with A. And then instead of GMF family law, it's going to be the name of your form. Yeah, perfect. And you can go do that for the other form right now too.
Nice, you remembered what was on the clipboard. Super impressive.
Yeah, I accidentally didn't copy the G, but at least there's a G over here already. So.
Exactly. So get rid of copy of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so now that you have these and you watch the other videos, does it make sense what to do, or?
No, I mean, the
Okay.
videos were, were confusing.
So tell us what you understood from the videos.
Not too much. I understand there's going to be some template that we're making and then scenarios from those and testing from those, but it was difficult to follow both conceptually, like what was going on, and in terms of the individual steps and how to replicate them.
So when you run, so let's start with the idea, so that I think that might help. When you have coded an interview, it has the potential to be full of lots of different kinds of bugs. The PDF might not fill out correctly. There might be an error that stops the user from continuing at all. There might just be a question that wasn't supposed to show up that does show up. So there are all these different kinds of bugs that can show up, and you need to try to trigger all of them, as many of them as possible. So you need to think of all the things that can possibly go, all the things that need to happen and all the ways that they could happen or that they might not happen, right? So, and then because we're not using automated testing right now, we're using quality assurance testers and we can talk about why, like what advantages they have over each other, but we have to write out instructions for people who don't know the code, right? And don't know the interview, that they can just go to a document and go down a checklist and go, this passes, this passes, this passes, this didn't happen, I'll report that, this passes, this passes, this passes. So what you're doing is you are the one who knows the interview best, the way you wanted the behavior to happen the best. And so you are going to describe all the different paths anyone could go down in order to trigger various issues. Another common issue is there is a field on the PDF and someone fills in something that's too long to fit and some of it disappears, right? So that will be a scenario. So a scenario is a path people take and the things they try on it, right? They try to do. So this template lets you write down the different screens. I don't know why it's called test subject, but whatever, you all figured that out, that's fine. So that is basically, you know, the first screen is the first screen that you wrote that isn't from basic questions, right?
Yeah.
But you do some of the basic questions 1, 2, but for example, you don't have to do like, I accept the terms and conditions. But like, you know, the user's name, there's a name for the user's field, maybe if they're in an individual or business and so on and so forth. And you put all the possible things that you might put in the scenarios. For example, one group of things you'll put in is first, middle, last name, and suffix. Because at some point you want the test that goes, if they put in all this information, all that information appears on the test. Another combination that would happen is first name and last name. Because once they've tested that appears, once there's been a test that tests that happens correctly, you don't want to make people keep typing all that stuff in when they don't need to type it in. So first and last name is also a scenario, right? Not a scenario, a piece of that could be plugged into a scenario. Does that put some of what the video said in context, or is it?
Yeah, I think so. And a scenario, is that just like basically a test, or?
It is the description of one path, right?
Okay.
Going down one path and your actions on that path.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mia, do you have something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the template, if you scroll down a little bit on the side here in column A, this is just all your possible inputs. So this is everything you can do. And Michelle touched on this. It's every like type of scenario you can do. And then if you want to go down to the scenario tab, these are each of them split up into the different scenarios. So these are the specific paths that Michelle was just referring to, if that makes more sense.
So the template lists out all the possibilities for each screen. For example, a person could put yes, yes, no. They could put yes, yes, yes. They could put yes, yes. So it helps you remember what you're going to need to include in the future on the scenarios, right? And it's just a memory aid. And the scenarios themselves are also a memory aid. Inputs is a little bit different. And after we have this discussion, either you might watch the videos again and see what you can pick up now that you know a bit more context.
Yeah.
But the template and scenarios are basically your memory aid for creating the test cases, which are going to be that scenario written out in this field appears and you're supposed to put in exactly this, and that field appears and you do that. And with the checkboxes that the tester can actually run through themselves, right? But this sheet is created in order to construct those test cases. And each test case will be one scenario. And people will run it repeatedly. When the code gets edited, the test scenarios, the tests will be run through again.
Okay.
So,
Want to try to start the template?
Yeah, let's try.
Okay. So do you want to go to your interview, just to the to the first the playground? Yeah.
Okay.
Not this one. And before this, it was just accept terms and conditions, correct?
Yeah.
That will be in the final test case. There will be those details, but this is not something you need to be reminded of, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is the first like specific
You don't
question
need
on the page.
either.
Okay.
You don't really need to. You will need to make sure, like, you know, just that at some point it's named and that it does appear, because you're also testing the flow. So you want to make sure that the pages appear when they're supposed to appear.
This will come in largely in the template.
Not in the scenario template.
Yeah.
Test template, which
Yeah.
isn't differentiated right now, but the test template is what a test is based off of. So it'll come in later.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead.
If you click yes here, it brings you to something different than if you click no, correct?
Yeah, so this is just basically, is this the right form? Yeah.
So what I'm gonna say is that doesn't matter for the template stage. For the scenario template, so let's go back to scenarios into that templates tab. So this would be, you can give that page a name, like give that screen a name, right? We can call it like.
You're gonna add one above 3. Add a row above 3, yeah.
And so give it a name. What would you call that page that we were just on? If you had to give it a title, page ID null. Ah, that's something that we'll have to change.
Yeah, you know, this used to not be here, and then suddenly, once we started running it after, I don't know, recently, it just appeared.
Yep, it's a new feature to help in testing, because
Okay.
testers can then say what page they're having having trouble with.
I see. Gotcha.
So, you know, what might you call that page?
Just like correct form.
Okay, there you go. And then what are the possible values that the user could, you know, what are the possible actions and choices the user could make?
So it's just yes or no.
There you go.
Michelle, I don't think we're doing this on the scenario sheet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I saw.
Well, because for the keeping your information safe, those are the you had like those are there's specific outputs. My question was, what appears if you hit yes? Because so like let's just play this out. So were you requesting a lawyer for me, someone else? Okay, maybe it depends on the sheet, but go back and then do no. I'm just curious. Okay, so then yeah, you would have to, for this one, this question would have to be on the scenario sheet. But for some of them, like some of these questions that are yes, no, don't need to be on the initial scenario sheet.
When does that happen? When do they not affect
Let me
an outcome?
find an example in my interview.
Sure.
But you guys can keep going.
Sure. Okay. So write that, right? You have the choices yes and no. Right? And that just reminds you that you're going to have to both include a scenario with yes, at least one scenario with yes, and at least one scenario with no.
Okay.
All right. So let's go back. And so let's see a next screen. If you hit no seems fastest. So let's hit no. Okay, so let's give that, make a row for that.
Just for an example, the interpreter question, that's one that you wouldn't need specifically on this sheet, but you can put it on, or you will put it on the B template.
Right, but that's because it's a basic question.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess that's the answer then. So more of those questions.
Yeah, when they're basic questions, there's only specific things you test about basic questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you do need to test that.
You do in the template, but here it would get kind of redundant.
I think it depends on how what the
how it functions for your
creator and what the creator needs as a memory aid.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So wrong form, and what's an option? So an option for that is restart. But there is another hidden option for this page as a whole, for that page as a whole, and that is that it does not appear at all. And there's a possibility that the page does not appear. So yeah, back is not one we generally do.
Just for formatting, I think these both need, for 3 and 4, they both need to be 2 lines, because you wouldn't get restart and does not appear in the same scenario.
Yes.
So you need to, yeah.
Oh, I see how y'all do it. This is so different than what yeah.
Click
Okay.
on 4 and do add one below, just for formatting. That way you don't have to.
And then over here, what I just write does not appear, or do I do wrong form again?
You would merge those.
Yeah, you're gonna. I'll
Okay.
let
No.
Okay.
Mia, you've done it so much more recently. Go ahead.
So you're gonna merge wrong form in the cell. So rows 4 and 5, you're gonna merge. So just highlight both of them. No, not
4B and 5B.
Yeah. And then up top by the paint bucket. No, not the brush. The paint bucket over by the where you change the color of the text, and then over one more. That one. Yep. And then, yeah, does not appear. And then you can delete the does not appear from above. And then you're going to do the same thing for the above rows. And then we
correct form. Yeah,
Yes.
for those 2 options. When I think what you're describing, Mia, is that if there is a radio button, if there are a set of inputs that all appear on one page, then you might say yes, no, as in the first input should be yes and the second input should be no. But these are both the same input.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so just in regard to the lines, highlight C3 and 4. And go right next to the paint bucket to that grid. Yep. Click on it. And then bottom right-hand corner, that one, click on that. And then click on the one right above it. That's perfect. And then you're gonna wanna do that for C5 and 6 as well.
And I personally often put the does not appear at the top, because that can be a consistency. That consistency is very useful sometimes.
Might be the
That's
easiest
all.
way through the interview, so. Is that what you mean?
Well, also
Why?
because then whenever I look at any of these screens, I always know if there's a possibility of a does not appear. Like I'll know it right away, as opposed to it being in different places. Like just my eye will know where to look. I think it's partially because of that whole nausea thing from scanning text, but I just tend to try and make that as efficient as possible for myself.
Of course. Okay, so then for A3 to 7, just highlight those to the down to the big one. Yep. And then you're gonna merge all of those. That one, yeah.
Why are they? Why
did it do that?
Why does that even exist?
I honestly don't know. It might not need to. We can delete that column.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not gonna make. You're gonna have to unmerge cells in order to do that. I'm not gonna make any judgments on that right now. I mean, we can, but like, there's other experiments I want to try. If you want to try them.
It makes it easy for like this is all the inputs, I guess. I don't know.
Yep.
But so yeah, so you're gonna so wrong form, and then what happens when you select the other direction? Yes. Were you requesting a lawyer for me or someone else? So this is probably one that you're gonna want on the scenarios. Yes. So under, where'd it go? Okay, I was confused. Okay.
I wonder if you all have been skipping doing interpreted language, because I'm curious, because it's in the basic questions, and so you don't. I wonder if you write scenarios that account for different options for interpreted language, and then test that it's coming out correctly on the cover. But I guess the cover page, never mind. Keep going.
Okay.
I'm going to think about this in my head. You continue.
Okay. So under row 6, add another row. Okay, so here you're gonna do whatever name you have for that screen. And then now you're gonna need another row just because there's two options. Actually, there's going to be, are we gonna do a, we're not worrying about can't continues here, right? Or are we doing can't continues, Michelle?
Not for buttons. Can't continues is actually a no inputs can't continues. For here, right, there's no way to not give an input.
Okay.
So,
And then you're just gonna wanna box those two in, yeah. Perfect. Okay, so then we go to the next, so you want to, you're gonna have to do both at some point, so we'll click me first and see how it goes. Okay, so, interesting. This is just gonna be a C input, right? Because there's,
yeah.
okay.
Well, no, there will be a C input and there will also be a, can you guess, Mia?
Nope.
None.
Yeah.
And by the way, for all these screens after that first one, there is a does not appear.
Mhm.
Because if you go to that end screen, then it does not appear.
Okay. Because if they had chosen someone else, this screen wouldn't have appeared, correct?
Right. So who is lawyer 4 also has a does not appear. And from what every other screen from now on will have a does not appear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, and then do I have to delete this border?
No, you just merge it.
Oh.
With
But wait, yeah.
no, not all of them.
Just those two?
Just those two. Yep.
Gotcha.
There you go. And then you're just gonna have to redo the boxes. Yeah.
Well, you can redo the boxes later, right, Modi?
Yeah,
I mean, Michael.
No, whichever one is fine. Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries at all.
That's how you first introduced yourself. My mind gets stuck sometimes in weird.
Yeah. No, either one is totally fine. No worries at all. Okay. So do you want me to continue going with this?
So yep, make that a row.
Okay.
So it has a does not appear is one thing.
You're gonna need two rows.
You're gonna need 3 rows actually.
Okay.
Well, the first one is does not appear.
There's a none, right?
The first one is does not appear. The second one is C inputs, because you will write the what the name will be in a thing that's full of standard inputs, so you don't have to keep writing the same name over and over again and then correct it at some point, right? And then the last one is nothing.
Well, wouldn't it be no input can't continue because does not appear, or
It would be no input, but right now, from what I can see, you can continue without answering that question.
Yeah, it's an optional question.
No input, okay.
Isn't that interesting?
None.
Which is why we have these things, because sometime
With a capital N.
consistency, because sometimes not answering a question, so at some point in the future, if someone edits it, right, like, you know, deletes it and does another thing and it ends up being required because they forgot to put required false,
Mm-hmm.
then this test, you know, one of these tests should catch that mistake.
And you're gonna wanna merge the cell in column B, those 3 cells. No, not all, not the ones in column C, just down, yeah.
I really don't think that has,
Well, and
I
also,
feel like the complication doesn't have to be added, like the borders are enough.
but also you're gonna want to center it. So up at the, yeah, you know how to center the text.
No, is that just?
Yeah.
Yeah. just a regular. And then right next to where that box is, there's right next to that, yep, is the center one. Yeah.
Okay.
You're an oiled machine. All right. So keep going.
Okay, here we go. So
That's a basic
some of this
question.
is already written. So if you go back to the scenario page, user's name, that's already written, and you can take away the business or organization and just write does not appear. But Michelle's gonna like this at the top.
Oh,
It's okay. It's okay. Just you can do all that later.
Later, yeah.
So does this page? Yes, this page sometimes does not appear because of that first thing. Everything does not appear. It's gonna be crazy.
And then we go to the next question. Yeah. Let's see. Okay.
okay, so this is what we just did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Docket number. Okay. Mine's also required as well. So when you go to the scenarios, it's a bit lower. If you want to scroll, you're going to be able to drag it up. The docket number is right there. So if you want to select 47 and 48, you'll be able to drag those up and put them where we want. Yeah. So let's figure out which line it was at. It was right
Under
after his name. Yeah, right there.
Oh, right. It's attached to a merge cell. I would just insert 2 rows and then copy paste is what I would do.
Well, that trick can normally work.
You know what I really would do?
Just delete
Unmerge the column on the left.
and delete column A, right?
Just click on that cell. No, just click on that one big cell.
Just there.
Yep, and unmerge it. So press, it's green right now. Yeah.
Oh, so it's just this.
And
Okay. And then,
now you can just drag stuff up and it won't be a problem. This is part of why I object to merging.
yeah, but also you can just delete column A because it's pretty useless right now, in my opinion, for this purpose. Unless Michelle has some hard
Nope.
on that. Okay.
I have no input.
No
so
objection.
copy the docket number thing.
Yeah, those 2 rows. Perfect. Right under user's name. Awesome.
And then also, what's the other one that
Does not appear.
Yeah, does not appear.
Okay.
Okay.
It auto completes it for you, so you can always press tab or something and for it to allow it to auto complete for you.
Gotcha. Thanks. Okay.
Okay, and then we can do the same thing for court. Yours is probate and family. Awesome. So you can just drag up what I already had. It's scroll down.
Court.
Court.
Oh, is it there? Oh, here you go.
Yep. Same thing. Right under. And then you're just going to need the does not appear again.
Which, by the way, it's great input and feedback to the user. So it's a shame that it adds to the tests, but like, it's great feedback to the user. You might want to give it some lines now because if you think you're going to mix them up again in the future.
Okay.
Honestly, what I do is I'd remove all the lines to start with and then go back and do lines at the end.
Yeah, no, it's messing up.
It's the wrong one.
18 to 16 is supposed to be merged for docket number. So
16 to 18 if you're going top to bottom.
perfect. And then do this,
Okay.
Anyway.
And should this be deleted? I don't know where this came from.
It's supposed to, it's on every screen, right? So that's the court question. You just
Oh, I
need to
see.
merge 19
Gotcha.
and 20.
I see. Gotcha. Okay.
And then you're gonna want to fix the lines around the night. Perfect. And then
Have such beautiful attention to detail.
can you click on A at the top? Yeah, and then go over to that little center thing. That one, yep. And then click on that center, the center one, even though it's already green. Perfect.
I can also tell you something, well.
Oh, the command click one works as well.
There's also if you can copy the formatting of one cell to other cells.
The paintbrush one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The paint roller rather, yeah. So, but yeah. All right. So that is the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And,
So we would just run through the interview and keep doing this basically for every screen that comes up.
Yep, and use the ones that are here if they're useful.
Okay.
I just think after this, like after you do this, going back and watching the other videos is going to make a lot more sense now that you've seen this. So I recommend doing that.
Yeah, no, this was definitely helpful. So I appreciate you guys taking the time and hopefully
we'll make a video out of this and be like, watch this one before all the other ones.
All the others.
that would probably be helpful. Yeah, so hopefully it recorded. And you want me to send you this recording too?
Yes, please.
So I'll just post that in the Slack channel.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Awesome.
We should do people should post their learnings from in the testing stuff as well, right? You know, like how we do it on the coding channel. There should be the equivalent for the testing channel. This is the thing I learned about testing.
Yeah, I like that idea.
We should make Michael do it the first time.
I think
Michael,
this
you're the
video
first
will
one.
constitute all my learning. So
there we go.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, so I think you just have to stop the recording first before ending the call.
You can actually do it either way.
Oh, okay.
You can end a call and that'll trigger the recording to start doing its thing, or at least it does on mine. I don't guarantee it on every system. So maybe it's best to be